All right, One Piece chapter 1007 is out officially, and per usual, we have the official breakdown where we talk about every single facet or important facet of the chapter that we really didn't get a chance to touch on in the initial discussion. So right now we're going to start with a cover page with Caesar and baby penguins. I said this in my initial discussion, Caesar should not be anywhere close to babies or kids in general based on how we've seen him treat them, but this would be a crazy punishment for Caesar, right? If he was sentenced to do this for the rest of his life, meaning blow up balloons for baby penguins and just babies in general, it'd be devastating for him. But good thing this is just a cover art request, right? So we're not going to waste any time. We're going to get to the chapter. You as well, don't waste any time. Subscribe to the channel and like the video as well. I would greatly appreciate that, and turn on post notifications so you do not miss a video. So again, without further ado, let's get to the chapter. Something about Wano that Oda has been trying to let us know is that Wano is impressive based on them being cut off from the rest of the world and why the rest of the world is afraid of them. Of course, we know of the legend of Ryuma, where a lot of people were trying to invade Wano for their treasures and riches, and they were kept out by Ryuma. So of course that created a legend, and X Drake is echoing what, even Akainu said in regards to hyping up Wano. Now, it's hard to put into context just how impressive what Hyogoro did, because we had no idea how strong, let's say, Commander Hote was. So yeah, Oda is telling us instead of directly showing us everything, because of course there's no time to flesh out all these different commanders from the Mimiwari Gumi, but he's telling us based on what X Drake has seen, who is a decently credible source, that this person is really powerful, and based on what he has done, he understands why the rest of the world fears Wano. Now, some people may not like how that's conveyed, because they would rather see it and try to break it down themselves. A lot of people like show not tell, but this is what Oda's choosing to do here. And based on what he did, it's impressive, right? Like Apu is saying, and Apu has been featured in a lot of the chapters, not really featured, but we've seen him time and time again. I wonder what Oda's plan with him is, if he's going to come to our side being the Alliance. But pretty much he endured the Ice Demon and he used the power to his advantage. So it's impressive. Regardless of how you spin it, pretty impressive. Hyogoro's death, Chopper, Queen, that entire sequence, overall it was fine. I think there's so much going on here that probably isn't getting the focus that it deserves based on what happened in the chapter, at least at the end of it. So we're going to try to focus as much as we can here. Of course, we're going to talk about the end of the chapter, but for the most part, let's try to talk about what's going on here, right? So it's a race against the clock, right? Because Hyogoro, he's supposed to die. He's saying to kill him because he's turning into an ice demon. In the same regard, Queen's subordinates, they're asking him for help, and Queen is basically saying, you served your purpose. From pleasures to waiters, you guys are not important in the grand scheme of things. And this is showing a different side to Queen, not something that's totally foreign from what we've seen from the character, but being as direct as he was with the pleasures and the waiters, saying that for the most part they're pawns and that they're easy to replace, it stung a bit more because he was being so direct. Of course, some people always talk about how they appreciate people being direct. Queen could not be more direct here. The crazy part is that Queen, while being an asshole, he is correct in everything he's saying, but also he said he gave them a chance. He gave them the antibody, right? And that was a chance where they could be saved, where for Queen, he likes playing these games, and we saw a semblance of that in Udon. But something that I broke down a bit in regards to Queen and his psychology and how he views pirates, it's interesting, right? And in a general sense, Queen is correct, because people looking at what Queen is saying and say, oh, you couldn't be more wrong about the Straw Hats. Of course, the Straw Hats don't come around often. Pirate crews like them who genuinely care about other people. So for Queen, mentally based on the pirates he's interacted with, he cannot possibly fathom Chopper taking the time out to mass produce antibodies to help even strangers or even the enemy. So Queen, even though he's a truth teller, he came off as a dick, right? As much as people hated it, I felt like it was reaffirming just how despicable the Beast Pirates are. Chopper deserves his credit here, and I didn't give him the proper credit in the initial discussion, but Chopper deserves a lot of credit here. Not only did he outthink Queen and manage to mass produce an antibody that could help multiple people at one time, he managed to save Hyogoro, and he drew blood from Queen via an attack. This is kind of twofold for Chopper, because it's proving his prowess as a doctor and also as a combatant and a Straw Hat, right? So him dispelling the notion that Queen has about pirates, even though he wasn't trying to do that, but then also him showing just how great he is at coming up with ways to save people, and then also being strong enough to, of course, while Marco is holding Queen, to deliver a blow that's not devastating, but significant enough to draw blood. And Queen, it was funny how he turned it around, was like, yo, who asked you to butt in? But then Chopper mentioned just how everyone was scattered, and because of that, they had time to hone their skills, and that created what Queen sees in front of him now. So just an amazing moment, huge W for Chopper. We've been calling him Whopper, and he deserves it, okay? Also, this is not to the same degree degree, but Chopper is essentially doing what Luffy did in Udon, where Luffy basically sacrificed himself to rally these people that weren't his people, right? He was saying, you know what, I'm going to take the blow. I'm going to do these things for these people. And because of his actions, they rallied behind him. Now, not saying Chopper is, he doesn't have the same charisma that Luffy did, but he's being influenced by Luffy while also doing it his own way. So you gotta love it. Again, a lot of props to Chopper. That moment was funny though, when the entirety of the sequence, they're calling him Tanuki, right? And before the smack that Chopper gave to Queen, he set everyone straight, letting them know that he's not a Tanuki. And the reaction from all these people, it's hilarious. Something people were also focusing on was the fact that Marco has the time to gag it up. Queen is occupied by Chopper. Where is King? Now, I want to be clear about this. I made a tier list in regards to King and where I have him now. You guys can check that video out. It'll be down below. I fully expect King to go crazy still. Wano is not over. I guarantee by the end of Wano, we will say, you know what? King has lived up to his position of the right hand. Yeah, I may be jumping out there a bit because we haven't seen much from him. There's something about him, of course, not only him being the last of his kind or whatever, I still expect him to be great. And I'm just waiting for it, right? So we'll wait and see. Momonosuke. Things are coming full circle. And I plan on talking about Momonosuke in depth this week, but Momonosuke in this moment, I really liked it. He's growing up, and I think he's grown as a character, especially since Wano. Onigashima for sure, but in Wano, he's taken steps to grow in several different ways, and this is another step based on what's happened previously. Yamato talked about Kaido and the clouds and all this different stuff, and this is the first time she's seen Momonosuke transform, so she did not know Momonosuke was a dragon. So that's gonna play a huge role in the future, and we're gonna talk about that this week. The dialogue from CP0. I mentioned that it seemed out of nowhere, but of course, more than likely they were talking about stuff beforehand. We just didn't see it. And so this dialogue and this diatribe came out of nowhere, and it feels like just an influx of information that Oda needs to tie things together. And that is via the lineage factor, where it confirms that Kaido was indeed experimented on, and the devil fruit on Punk Hazard is a result of the experiment. It was deemed a failure by Vegapunk, so therefore the world government can get to it. Something a bit suspicious about that, but regardless, this was tied in, and even the people are asking, why does this matter? And they're, that's something I asked as well. Although I think this will play into Momonosuke's storyline. The end of the chapter, that's what everyone's talking about. So quickly, Oden shows up, right? Has different swords, the same garb, but it's longer. No hair on his legs, so that's a bit weird. But apparently Oden's back. I made a video as well about the different theories floating around in regards to what happened here. That would be in the description box down below as well. But we're gonna focus on, I think, the most solid theory right now, and that's the fact that this is Kanjuro messing with the scabbards again. Kanjuro can make clones, right? Ink clones that are sentient and have speech. Kanjuro, when he was on the boat with the scabbards, when he was kidnapping Momonosuke, he was capable of speech using this clone. Kinemon proceeded to cut him down, and you realize that wasn't actually Kanjuro, it was an ink clone. So Kanjuro has shown the prowess to be able to do things like this. So that's where I'm leaning at the current moment. They're the Onimaru theories, Teapot theories, Katarina Devon theories. Again, that video is down below if you want to check it out. But for right now, I think more than likely this is Kanjuro. Now, there's a possibility that Oden is just alive. And something I want to clear up, because people are saying, well, if it's Kanjuro, why would he heal the scabbard? I think what happened here was done by two different people. The person that Kawamatsu saw, there's no way it was Kanjuro, right? And based on the silhouette, more than likely it was Hiyori or Toki. It's more than likely Toki. And Toki having the scar that Oda highlighted and pinpointed means that she was always going to be back in the story. Now again, Toki being back, people are saying that Oden could be back as well. We can entertain it another time, but for right now, I'm leaning towards Kanjuro messing with the scabbards, and we may have the tragedy that we've been looking for, because Kanjuro just seems that petty. Like if you go back and read those chapters, he seems like that type of guy. But overall, I think a good chapter, very crazy cliffhanger. We're going to discuss that ad nauseum for weeks to come. I'm sure Oda's going to go away from it when we come back to One Piece, knowing Oda. But so far, so good. Just a lot of discussions. So guys, give me your thoughts. How do you feel about the chapter? Make sure to like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on Instagram at BragoD.Ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate all you guys so much. Guys, like, subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
I start doubting me, I felt lost. I rewrite it.